Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your break. Now I will take you through the St. Minerals product range. With so many multifunctional universal products, you have the ability to do all sorts of looks, from a very casual to full on glam. And these photos are a perfect example. Now, this is our very own beautiful Sheridan. She's on our makeup artist team. First time I met Sheridan, I did just very natural look on her, which is the photo on the left. And then I gave Sheridan some products, sent her on her way, and said, now show me what you can do. And she sent me the selfie, which is on the right, which it's absolutely stunning. All throughout the product review, I'll share more before and after photos with you that I took with my own cell phone. And sometimes when I see these photos, I'm still amazed. And trust me, it's not because of my makeup artistry abilities. It's all St. Minerals. Let's start with our primers to create a perfect canvas for that flawless base application. Mineral primer is perfect to prep and prime the skin before any base application. Now, this is for all skin types, but definitely for combination and oily skin because it eliminates excess oil and controls shine all throughout the day. It also has that great blurring effect for large pores, lines, and wrinkles. And this is really more of a treatment serum for the skin also because it's soothing, hydrating, loaded with antioxidants and anti-inflammatories from those wonderful ingredients, including my favorite, one of my favorites, kiwi seed extract. Now, we love multifunctional products, and Mineral Primer does not disappoint. Of course, we can use it as a makeup primer, which it was created for. And this will be applied before the base, and it only takes 4 drops. Just like all St. Minerals products, it's very concentrated, so a little goes a long way. I love the fact that this is so lightweight. In fact, I never used or liked a makeup primer before this one because they always felt so heavy on my skin. So this is all you need. Massage it in just like a treatment serum. And the first time you use it, you notice it has a really nice, light, fresh scent to it. That's cucumber, but your skin feels so silky smooth. It's absolutely wonderful. Easy to use is another thing I love. It could be used alone just as a treatment serum for that oil and shine control and that blurring effect. It's applied the exact same way like we would a primer. Just put it in as a finishing product step. Great product booster. You can mix 1 to 2 drops with any serum, cream, or lotion and apply. And then men love mineral primer. In fact, between my husband and my son, my mineral primer disappears all the time. It could be used as a treatment serum for all day oil and shine control. It's a great, very lightweight, soothing aftershave balm. In fact, my son is prone to razor burn. He has very sensitive skin, but Mineral Primer has done a wonderful job helping to make his skin happy. Next is our natural oil primer, and I call this my major multitasking superhero for the skin. It's incredible. So this is our original packaging, and we are now transitioning into our beautiful new pump bottle. But natural oil primer is so versatile, I decided to change its name, but not officially. I call it my natural beauty oil and primer because that's how versatile it is. For daily use, it's best for normal to dry skin, and then for everybody else, it could be used as needed to hydrate, nourish, and heal the skin. So whether they have a compromised barrier, great for post-procedure care. It just loads the skin with nutrition, it hydrates and soothes. The oil itself is also very lightweight, which is a bonus. And the ingredient deck, to me, I love this because Here are all of those incredible therapeutic botanical oils that we talked about in ingredient technology with omegas, essential fatty acids, anti-inflammatories, antioxidants, and more. And it also smells absolutely wonderful because it has those essential oils as well. It smells delicious. Now, as far as application, I could probably do an entire class on everything you could do with natural oil primer. So I will share the top 5. So first, a beautiful hydrating makeup primer. It only takes a half a pump for the face, or I like face, neck, and décolleté. It's so nourishing. So that will take 1 pump, not much at all. So there's about a half a pump. Massage that in just like you would any beauty oil, lotion, or cream. And then once it sets, which only takes maybe about 30 seconds or so, you can go ahead and apply your base foundation. This makes just a beautiful beauty oil to use at home or in your professional procedures. You can use it as a finishing product for a huge boost of nourishment. It could be used head to toe. Wonderful, nourishing hair, scalp, cuticle, beard, and shaving oil. And then this is what I love to do if I have a special occasion. I will mix natural oil primer with my loose powder base, and it turns into this luxurious hydrating liquid foundation. And it's just absolutely beautiful. And it's really easy to do. So I will take that half a pump to 1 pump, depending on the area to be covered. Here's my loose powder. Take the cap off. There's a sifter top. Pull the tab up. There's all that magic. And I literally just sprinkle some loose powder into the oil primer. And I would say it's probably equal amounts. Depends on how much coverage you want. Some people like lighter coverage, so you can use less. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. Hope you'd see the difference on this camera. I know it's small, but it's glowy, beautiful coverage. It is absolutely incredible. And then I feel like this is a must-have in your back bar, without a doubt. Use it as that beauty oil, as a finishing treatment product. And then if you like doing dermaplaning using oil for Glide, it's wonderful. And then you can finish the treatment as well. Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no. Oh, sorry, I couldn't help myself. Since I started working for St. Minerals, that song goes through my head all the time because with St. Minerals, it is all about the bass. It's our most important product. And don't be surprised if you come to a live training, we break out into a dance party. I mean, we love teaching, we love having a good time as well. St. Minerals offers 5 different base types, offering light to full coverage depending on the base. Now, all of them are weightless, breathable, and they last all day. I really do love their staying power. Of course, they help strengthen and support skin's barrier while protecting the skin. All of those have SPF 25 plus, physical sun protection, environmental protection, and of course, protection from our digital screens as well. Now, before we meet our lineup of bases, I just want to start with how to choose the perfect base for either yourself or your client. And with 5 different base options, that's where I usually see people becoming a little overwhelmed. I know I was at first, but if you think about it in the way I'm going to show you, it's actually very, very easy. So think about St. Minerals base is the wardrobe for your face. So just like we choose our clothes for the day or for the season or for a special occasion, That's how we choose a base for our face. It makes it very easy. I know in the summer I wear something much more lighter than the base that I wear in the winter. Same with clothes. So it's all related and it makes it easy to narrow down the perfect base for everyone. Now, of course, besides knowing skin type, there's three other things that are very important. If you know the answer to these questions, I promise you'll nail it every single time. A lot of happy clients. And to help you, we have all of these on our prescription pads as well that the client can answer. So first, what type of coverage? Is it sheer, which is the absolutely no makeup look, light, medium, or full coverage? Finish is really important. A matte finish has absolutely no shine or shimmer. Satin is probably the most common, which is a natural, subtle glow. And then dewy is the most shimmery, shiny finish. Now, I know slugging and dewy looks are all the rage, but there are some skin conditions like very large pores and deep wrinkles that a dewy finish may accentuate and draw attention to. So just keep that in mind when choosing bases for your clients. And then finally, once you've chosen the base type, of course, you're going to match the shade, and it should all be one shade from face, neck, into the décolleté. This is great to use as a shade guide when you're trying to narrow down the best shade for your client. The most popular shade in our entire line is 02, which is for light skin tones, and it's universal because it has neutral undertones. It also does a fantastic job at neutralizing redness within the skin. The one thing I want you to keep in mind about these shade numbers and the bases, for example, a 03 in loose powder might not look exactly the same as a 03 in liquid foundation on somebody's skin. Loose powder might be just a little bit darker. And the reason for that is because loose powder is nothing but minerals, where liquid foundation has other ingredients in it, which might affect the pigments just a little bit. It's not always the case, but I guess my point here is always, always shade match. Don't guess. And shade matching is so easy to do. You don't want to do it on the wrists or the arms. It should be done just above the jawline, blend it down into the neck. And with minerals, when you're applying it, you want to warm up those minerals, and the shade that literally melts into the skin tone is the perfect shade. Our first base is our natural loose mineral powder, and this is what we call our hero base. It can provide light to full coverage as well as a satin to super dewy finish, all depending on how it's applied to the skin. It's for all skin types, the best choice for health challenged skin, and also to be immediately applied after clinical procedures like lasers and advanced chemical peels, and also for post procedure care. The reason for that is because it has the least number of ingredients, it's only minerals. Natural loose mineral powder comes in 10 shades. And I think one of the best benefits of pure minerals is the fact that one shade can blend in with many different skin tones. So it's not necessary to have 50 to 100 different shades of one foundation type. Now for the fun part, the application. With loose powder, because it offers all sorts of levels of coverage and finishes, just think about what your specific goal is with that powder. So if you want to achieve full coverage with that dewy finish, then I recommend using our Sate Minerals Short Stem Kabuki brush. And this, it's so soft. It really does feel soft as a bunny. But these are synthetic hairs because our line is vegan. This was designed specifically for our natural loose mineral powder because it has a very, very dense head to hold the most amount of powder in it. That's why if you want full coverage, this is the brush for you. Now, how to apply it. Of course, first you need to get the minerals onto the brush. Open the sifter top. And what I will do is press my brush, my kabuki brush, into the powder. And I want to tap off any excess. And then what I like to do also is take the cap, swirl it around in the cap, tap off any excess. And I also like to tap it on, I'm at my desk right now, but the bathroom counter, because that helps the powder get into the brush as well, evenly. I can't stress enough how important good brushes are with a pure mineral makeup line, because if you try and use a cheap brush, you'll get a streaky, cheap looking application. So for that full coverage, dewy look, all you do is just buff the whole entire face. Of course, you want to bring it down the neck. I like to bring it down into the décolleté. The key is the more buffing, the more dewy the finish, because essentially what you're doing, you're warming up those minerals and really shining them up. So very easy. Now, what if somebody loves that dewy finish, but they're like me, they have very large pores, lines, and wrinkles that I don't want to accentuate? Then that's when stippling comes into play. And I'm a huge stippler. I love stippling. Stippling is simply pressing the powder into the skin. So I will, stipple the powder all over my face. Don't forget the lids, under the eyes. And then what I'll do, and you'll get a lot of coverage with that. Once you have that all over your face, I go back and I brush and I buff where I want that dewy look. So my forehead, I just stay away from any areas that I don't want accentuated. And that is probably one of the best tips I've learned. That was probably 15, 20 years ago. I learned that tip. So this is one of my clients I did a Jessner's peel on, and the photo on the left, I could have just applied that tint and moisturizer, sent her on her way, but she was going back to work. So I did our 1 minute flawless finish with the loose powder. That's literally all it takes. And I think her skin looks absolutely beautiful. She was pleased, without a doubt. So on the photo on the right, I buffed it, stippled in some areas. I just did a hint of our all over bronzer on her cheeks, clear lip gloss, and sent her on her way. I thought she looked absolutely beautiful. Now, if your goal with the loose powder is lighter coverage or a satin finish, then use our flat-headed long stem kabuki. And this is just as soft, but the head is not as dense, so it won't hold as much powder. So you will get lighter coverage. This is also really easy to stipple with as well. Super easy and cover more area at the same time. So application will just be lighter. And then, of course, for that satin finish, very little buffing. And then if somebody does love a loose powder, but they want more of a matte finish, all they have to do is, on top of that loose powder, apply our mineral veil, which will give them that matte finish, and also oil control throughout the day. Here are some more quick tips for natural loose mineral powder. It makes the perfect concealer for blemishes. You really don't need an extra concealer for those. All I do is literally, of course, you can use on a client, I would use a concealer brush, but at home, I literally just stick my finger in the powder, put it on the blemish, I'll blend it out, it all matches, covers it up great, and that's it. Another tip, you can layer loose powder over any St. Minerals base for additional coverage. So for example, if I'm using liquid foundation, which is full coverage, but I want even more coverage, I could put loose powder on top. I actually love mixing loose powder with BB cream when I want more coverage. So for every day, if I'm working in the office, I wear BB cream, which has light coverage. And then if I want more coverage out of that, I can mix it with my loose powder. And it's a wonderful liquid foundation as well. You can make your own custom BB cream. Loose powder can be mixed with any serum, lotion, cream, anything really except water. It just will not mix with water because it's pure minerals. And then for post-procedure, this is one of my favorite things to do because when I was working at the med spa, we were doing laser procedures. We would put Aquaphor on our patient, send them on their way. And this was, in the middle of summer when there was lots of sun and heat. If that is still a thing, you can actually mix our loose powder into that Aquaphor or any post-procedure balm to give that protection and also neutralize any redness and make the skin look much more beautiful. Next, we have our liquid foundation, which also comes in this nice tube. Now, this provides full coverage and leaves a nice natural satin finish. It's for all skin types. Fan favorites are those with acne, especially teenage girls with acne love this because of the coverage. Um, I love this if in the middle of the summer we're out on our motorcycle. If I go to the gym, it's sweat and heat resistant. Definitely my favorite when it's really hot outside. Perfect for anybody in a hot, humid climate. And look at these ingredients. Absolutely wonderful. There's green tea, marigold extract, hyaluronic acid, allantoin. So wonderful ingredients as well. And liquid foundation is also available in 10 shades for all Fitzpatrick types. Now, as far as application, it doesn't take much at all. I'll show you. It's about all I need. Oops. For face and neck and blending down into the décolleté. Now, I highly recommend, especially in the treatment room, applying it with either our foundation brush or I'm really loving this new buffer brush. Either one is fine. But after you apply with the brush, I like to go back and just pat it in under the eyes, on the lids, and then blend it into the hairline for nice even application. Now you can apply it with the hands, but it's set so fast that you have to work with it. So what I'll do is I'll take my foundation, I will dot it, and then quickly massage it in, pat it, and blend it. And then it sets. But it's so nice and soft. Let me massage this in so I can show you the coverage. This is 03, and I'm sure you could see the difference. It's very nice. Oops. So this is the hand with the foundation on it. Oh, another tip, sorry. If somebody wants it to be a little more hydrating, so for example, in the winter time, if I use just liquid foundation, for me, it's not hydrating enough. So I could do one of two things. I can mix in just a tiny bit of my BB cream or just a teeny tiny little bit of that natural oil primer. Cocktail those together, apply, you'll get more hydration. Just keep in mind if you're adding the natural oil primer, it'll take a little bit away from the coverage. And here I did a 1-minute flawless finish on Sarah. I applied the liquid foundation, a hint of bronzer on her cheeks, and clear lip gloss. And she is just another absolute beauty. Our pressed mineral powder comes in a compact in 4 shades. This provides buildable light to full coverage with a matte finish. Now this is for all skin types, But anybody with combination to really oily skin loves this because it does help to control excess oil. It won't dry out the skin though, which is why it's for all skin types. It's definitely humidity and sweat resistant. So it made it very popular when we were down for the Miami Beach trade show. The application of pressed powder to me is super easy. It's almost goof proof. And you have a couple options. So if you open up the bottom of the compact, flips up, and you'll see there's an applicator sponge if somebody prefers a sponge. I always love brushes, especially if if I'm applying to a client in my treatment room. And you could use either one of the Kabukis or the new buffer brush. It's all about preference. Now, this can be used either wet or dry. So if I want to use it wet, I will spritz my brush with a hydrating mist and then just swirl my brush in the powder, tap it off, tap it on my counter, and either buff or for full coverage, I like stippling with pressed powder. And you could do as many layers as you want to get the coverage that you need. So, like I said, goof proof, super easy. Now, for those that want it not as matte, just a more satin, you can either do one or two things. Buff some loose powder right on top, or I just love using one of our highlighters on top of that for a little bit of shimmer and glow. This is without a doubt one of my favorite before and after photos. She's one of my favorite people. This is Danielle, and struggling with acne, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Pressed powder was just absolutely gorgeous on her skin. Again, this is that 1 minute flawless finish, just a hint, a bronzer and a clear lip gloss. Then here's another view. I think this is just incredible. Cream Mineral Foundation is similar to the pressed mineral foundation, and that it also comes in a compact and available in 4 shades. Everything else is different though. This is our most hydrating foundation. So this provides light to medium coverage, which is buildable, and it leaves a satin finish, which is a cream to powder finish. So when you put it on, it's a cream. Once it sets, it's soft as a powder. This is definitely best for normal to dry skin. In fact, it becomes very popular up here in the north during the wintertime. For application, again, what's the goal? If somebody loves lighter coverage, I do recommend using the sponge because you have the ability to spread it out more. And then for somebody that prefers medium to coverage, and again, in your treatment room, I recommend using the foundation brush or our new buffer brush for sure. In fact, for this one, I like the buffer brush. And literally just swirl the brush into the cream, buff it on. Again, since it's cream, I love patting it under the eyes, on the lids, blending it into the hairline and down the neck. And then once it sets, it's a nice soft powder. For somebody that prefers full coverage, they can certainly apply loose mineral powder right on top, whether they buff it or stipple it once the cream has set. And here's our 1 minute flawless finish with the cream. Again, just one application and then a hint of the bronzer, and then we put her own lip gloss on. But it's absolutely beautiful. And then last but not least, our #1 selling base in the whole entire line. You can never go wrong with BB cream because this truly is our 4-in-1 day cream. In one simple step, it's your daytime moisturizer, anti-aging cream, mineral coverage, plus sun, environmental, and digital protection, all in one step. BB cream will provide very light to medium coverage and leaves a beautiful natural satin finish. It's for all skin types, and it is loaded with anti-inflammatories, antioxidants, those incredible omegas, as well as brightening agents to help keep an even skin tone. And it smells wonderful with a hint of blood orange, lemon, and lime essential oils. And BB cream is available in 9 shades for all Fitzpatrick types. And before I forget, I want to say something about shades, especially for darker skin tones. Typically, with mineral makeup, people with darker skin tones are not fans because they usually leave the skin looking ashy. Saint Minerals worked on their darker shades for years and just recently released them, and I have to say they hit the nail on the head. We tried all of the darker shades, especially in BB cream, on attendees at that Miami Beach show, and we really knocked some socks off. Skin looked just absolutely beautiful without the ash. Now, as far as application, it only takes 1 pump for the face and neck. So we do that. It doesn't take a lot at all. Now, at first, if somebody is really dry and dehydrated, they might need more, but as hydration levels increase within the skin, they'll need less. For light coverage, just simply massage it into the skin like you would a moisturizer. So I like to warm it up in my hands first and then massage it in, pat it in under my eyes, lids, blend it into the hairline, and then blend it down my neck. It sets, it's beautiful, and that's all you need to do. So that's for light coverage. If somebody wants medium coverage, that's when we want to apply it with either the foundation brush or the buffer brush, which again, I always recommend using brushes to apply your bases in your treatment room. And then if somebody wants full coverage, there's a lot of different things you can do. First, you can mix it with the loose mineral powder or liquid foundation, mix it and apply it, or just apply BB cream and then apply loose powder right on top for full coverage. And on this photo, you can really see the difference in between the light and full coverage. On the left side of the photo, I applied it with my hands. So there's lighter coverage there. But on the right side, I applied it with the foundation brush. And it's just absolutely beautiful. I love finishing every single one of my procedures with at least the BB cream because you're sending them on their way, feeling confident, not worrying about if people can tell whether they had a procedure or not. So now that we have our perfect, flawless finish base application, we're going to add in some color to enhance a lot of facial features. All Over Loose Bronzer is literally for everyone. I love this. That gives you that sun-kissed, radiant glow all year long. It has physical SPF 25 plus, in addition to environmental and that digital screen protection. Now, besides using it as a bronzer, it's great to use as an eyeshadow, also as an alternative to a blush for somebody that has a lot of redness in their face to begin with. So this is nothing but minerals and some rice powder. And then as far as application, this is one to remember how super concentrated it is. You'll take the cap off just like you do with a loose powder base, open up the sifter cap, and I love using our blush brush for this. And because it's so concentrated, I just lightly get some powder off of the cap, tap off any excess, and then I'll take the jar cap, swirl it around, get it evenly on the brush, and then wherever you want to put it, you could either buff or, again, I'm a huge stippler, so I usually stipple. Now, our other option for that kiss of color is our pressed matte bronzer. So besides being in a pressed powder, still a universal shade like All Over loose bronzer, but this leaves a matte finish, so there's no shimmer whatsoever, which is probably why I love this more for full-on contouring. As far as application, exact same thing. Just take the blush brush, swirl it around in the powder, tap off the excess, and either buff or stipple, whatever you prefer. The purpose of applying bronzer is to achieve warmth and depth. And how you apply it, or where you apply it, really depends on what kind of look you're trying to achieve. So after Saint Minerals base has been applied, if you just want natural look, just a hint of color, apply it to the apples of the cheeks. Just have somebody smile and then right on the apples of the cheeks. I also like to put a little bit, just a hint on the eyelids. Now, if you want that sun-kissed look, you'll apply it on the face everywhere the sun hits the face. So usually that's the forehead, bridge of the nose, and the cheeks, and then of course the chin. Now for full contouring, that is specifically for depth and to accentuate cheekbones. Again, I recommend that pressed matte bronzer. And this is just a basic contouring. If you are looking for advanced full-on contouring, check for one of our tutorials in the future. So for contouring, I like starting right here in the middle of the forehead, and you'll bring it around down to the temple, under the cheekbone, bring it back around, and then under the jawline. It's like you're making a number 3. And then you just do that exact same method on the other side. And you have a nice contouring. Now, if you're going to be on camera, if you want to take it like one step further, I like doing a lot more on my jawline, bringing it down into my neck a little bit, and then I'll also put a little right here on my chin, just to give it a little more depth. And where bronzers create warmth and depth, highlighters bring added luminosity, accentuate features. So we have 2 highlighters for you. First is the All Over loose highlighter powder. This is a cool base to it. Universal shade, very soft and luminous. I love that, again, it's not too shiny, just the right amount of shimmer to it. So as far as application, it's exactly the same as the loose bronzer. Open it up, and again, I recommend, since it is concentrated, use our detailed highlighter brush and get the powder just right off the cap, the inside of the cap of the sifter. The other option is our pressed highlighter, called Golden Glow, because it has a golden tone to it. And just like the All Over loose highlighter, we use our detailed highlighter brush for application. And our highlighters can be applied anywhere you want a little extra luminosity or pop, like to make the eyes pop. So the order is your base, your bronzer, and then your highlighter. And these are the areas I love to put my highlighter. And honestly, it probably takes 30 seconds total to get all of these areas. So upper face, inner corners, definitely right under the arch of the brow and on top. I like doing it right in the middle of my eyelid and in the inner corner of my eyes, right above the cheekbone, put a little right in the middle of the apples of the cheeks, and for lower face, right there at the Cupid's bow and just a little bit in the middle of the chin. It's actually very easy. Now for that rosy glow on the cheeks, we have our brand new loose mineral blush called Rose Glow. It's a universal shade for all skin tones. It really does look beautiful. All Fitzpatrick types as well. So for application, we'll use our blush brush, just like all of the other loose powders. Open it, and again, I like getting my powder off of the inside cap of the sifter, tap it off, and again, stipple or blend, whichever you prefer, right on those apples of the cheeks. And next, our Mineral Veil, which is another major multitasking product in our range. This is a translucent combination mineral powder, priming powder, and setting powder all in one. Coverage is sheer and it leaves a really nice matte finish. There are 3 shades, and 02 is definitely most universal and most popular. It's perfect for combination to oily skin, anybody that lives in a hot, humid climate, because it helps control excess oil and is also sweat and humidity resistant, as well as being hot flash resistant. As far as application, you can honestly use any St. Minerals powder brush, but my favorite is our nice big fluffy domed powder brush. Super, super soft. And as far as application, just like all of the other powders, dip your brush in the powder, tap off any loose powder, buff, stipple, any way you'd like to do it with Mineral Veil, whatever's easiest for you. Now, the different ways that you can use it. It can be used all by itself as a very sheer translucent mineral powder to give that matte finish and provide all of that protection. You'll just layer that on after the daytime moisturizer or cream. And then using it as a primer, this is great if somebody just needs a little extra staying power from, say, their loose minerals, or I like it before another powder. You just brush that on and then put your powder base right on top of that. And it will also make it more matte. And as a setting powder, again, giving that extra staying power, just brush it on after any base. And that's it. Now we'll move on to our eye enhancers, which are all 100% natural and vegan. Peptide Cream Concealer comes in this cute little compact with a mirror inside, and it's available in 3 shades. This is another product that's for everyone. It's very lightweight and non-comedogenic and has some great staying power, so it should last all day. Peptide Cream Concealer can be applied just around the eyes or to cover up blemishes. Now, for around the eyes especially, this is a combination of a anti-aging eye cream and concealer all in one. It addresses all of those concerns we have around our eyes because of the ingredient technology. Pumpkin seed extract is our anti-aging superstar, and then the anti-glycation peptide, acetyl tetrapeptide 5, helps hydrate and soothe while helping to improve elasticity and also puffiness due to water retention. Now, as far as application, how to apply it, I think it just goes back to personal preference as well. I probably do all of these methods depending on how much time I have every day. So you can certainly use fingertip to pat it on and blend it in, a cosmetic sponge, or I probably use a concealer brush most. It's just I feel like I have more control with it. The texture is very soft and very luxurious. And this is an 02, the shade 02 that I wanted to show you because it's easier to see on camera. But after I apply it, I like to press it in, allow it to set, and it should last all day. And there's 02. I usually use 01 under my eyes. 02 more for blemishes on my face if I do that. So as far as order, how to apply it, this is just my personal preference. If I'm going to use loose powder or pressed powder, then I will apply peptide cream concealer first and my powder on top. If I'm using BB cream liquid or the cream foundation, I will put those bases on first and then I will pat in my concealer. Easy, easy. And for our lengthening mascara, this is available in black. I don't think I realized what a mascara snob I was till I got my hands on St. Minerals mascara, because it made me realize I had been using the same mascara for at least 10 years and I didn't even want to try anything. But of course, working for the company, you kind of have to. But I switched to this, no problem. This is definitely long lasting, smudge proof, and it has a wonderful plumping collagen formula for maximum volume. But the brush, it's a corset shaped brush, that helps with volume as well. And that's probably one, besides formulas, it's definitely very important for a great result with any mascara. So this corset shaped brush literally hugs every lash from root to tip, and you do get maximum volume. Even those teeny tiny little lashes that I have that are usually hard to get up. And that's the other thing. I don't have to use my eyelash curler anymore. When I apply the mascara, my lashes stay up. And the correct application for mascara, if you want to teach any of your clients, you want to start at the root and wiggle it slowly, working way up to the tip. And once you do that, like I said, the lashes stay up. And this really is a one coat mascara. On a daily basis, I just do one coat top and bottom lashes. When I'm on camera or if I have a special occasion, it's two on top, one on the bottom. But just the fact I don't have to use a curling lash curler anymore is incredible. And next are eyeliner pencils, which are available in 3 shades: slate, which is a real pretty gray color, brown, and then of course black. Now, once you apply these, they will set, they'll stay on all day, and they go on so soft and smooth. And they're safe for contact lens wearers, anybody with really sensitive eyes. And once you get it on where you want it, like I said, it goes on so smooth. If you want to create a smoky look, use our dual-ended brow brush and use the angled end brush side to blend it out. And you don't want to take too long until you go to blend it, because once they set, they stay. But really easy to work with. If you want a great tutorial on our eyeliner pencils, brow butter, and more, go to our YouTube channel. Our own beautiful Becca, one of our makeup artists, has done some tutorials and they're amazing. She uses the brown eyeliner pencil as an eyeshadow. She'll show you how to do that. But Becca's incredible. Go watch her tutorials. I have to say, I'm really proud of our brow butters. Now, St. Minerals has been around for a couple of years, but we just launched here in the US in 2022, and we were nominated for Best Brow Product for 2023 by Les Nouvelles Esthétiques and Spa Magazine. A huge honor. And just so you know, if we only had 4 or 5 more votes, we would have been #1. We would have won that award. So it was great being nominated. Our brow butters are 100% natural, highly pigmented, very water resistant, and they will definitely last all day. We offer 3 shades, 01, 02, 03. This is 03, which is our darkest shade. It's a dark brown. This is the one that I wear. Depending on how much or how many layers you apply, it could be a light dark brown or a dark brown. And application with this is super easy as well. I'm probably the most challenged person when it comes to putting on brows in the world. I just use the dual end brow brush, get a little of brow butter on my brush. What I like to do is add color to my natural brows first. Then I go back and do a little contouring, just clean up the arches. And then finally, I'll take that tip, very tip of the brush, brush in teeny tiny little hairs where I'm missing those. And then this spoolie is the bomb. I take the spoolie, it blends everything so beautifully. They look natural, and then they'll stay in place for the rest of the day. So one thing I notice doing special events, not only applying bases, get a lot of attention, but for women that you can barely see their brows, if you just do one brow, they won't be able to, and then you show them and then you do the other one, they can't take their eyes off their brows, especially if you give them a picture too. Doing brows is amazing. Now you've already met all of our brushes, so I'm just going to do a quick review and let you know that these are all synthetic fibers in line with our vegan line. Very, very soft brushes, high quality, and high quality brushes really are the key to beautiful application. Now, if you take good care of your brushes, they'll take good care of you. So before you use a brush for the very first time, or let your clients know before they use a brush for the very first time, just softly with your hand, brush it out to get rid of any extra bristles or hairs that might be in there. And then use the St. Minerals brush cleanser, spritz it really good, and just lay it flat to air dry. And then it's ready for use. Now, one thing that you can never, ever, ever use on these brushes is alcohol. It will quickly destroy these bristles, and it can also dissolve the glue that's holding the brush head to the stem. So if that does happen, which is common with makeup brushes, it hasn't happened with mine, but in the past, I think I left my brushes in my car when it was probably 100 degrees out that day, and the heat just loosened up that glue to where the stems came off. It's no big deal. The brush isn't broke. Just crazy glue it back together and you're good to go. Now, as far as the brush cleanser itself, there's only 3 ingredients in it, which is why I love it. Rose flower, witch hazel, and that broad spectrum preservation system, Spectrastat. You could use it besides sanitizing brushes in between use and cleansing them. You could use it as a quick makeup remover or a toner or setting mist. So lots of things to do with brush cleanser, and it has a nice light fresh scent as well. Guess what? We made it to our last product, our ultra fine super soft cleansing mitt. And this is what it looks like. So before first use, this should also be washed, just gentle wash, gentle cleanser, rinse it out real good, let it air dry. And then to use it, I'm going to put the mitt on, and I just like putting it on my hand. There's a little loop here. I put that on my thumb. And put it under, get it wet with warm water. And then you just start massaging your skin, and it will take off all of that dirt and grime and makeup, all that stuff from the whole entire day. Now you will need a different remover for mascara, but this is fantastic on the face and neck. And oh, I have a question. Thank you, Vanessa. How exactly does it work with just water? I'm glad you asked that. I always wondered myself. So these ultra fine fibers actually do have the ability to penetrate oil. So as you are massaging it around on your face, it is breaking up all that oil and makeup and dirt, sending it into the cloth itself, so you're not actually pushing around all that dirt on your face. It also does some really nice light exfoliation as well. I found some other uses for it. I keep one here at my computer to wipe down my computer screen. I also use it to clean my glasses. So lots of uses. It's a nice little product. Great gift idea as well.